Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to this live. I love it. I had somebody I work with who was helping me on the back end of this, and she's like, "Yeah, as soon as you can start talking, I'm going to do this." But then she disappeared, so I don't have anyone doing this. Welcome. And so this live is what's the dominant energy in your life? What is that for you? Sad, happy, crappy, angry? Like, what's that energy for you that you tend to return to? And for me, boy, it used to be unhappy and this constant sense of being less than in my world. It would be something that no matter what I got to the day before, I would wake up that morning unhappy again and it would start all over again. And this was basically the cycle of my life until I found Access Consciousness. And one of the first tools that I got from there was two tools actually in the first two sessions, the first two bars sessions that I got. The first one was all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Say that 10 times in the morning and 10 times at night. And basically with that, you're basically saying to the universe, hey, I would like all of my life to come to me with ease, joy, and glory. And then the second tool, so try that. I did, and I still do every day. The second tool that I got was who does it belong to? Now, this tool was such a, it was an acknowledgement and such a gift. And then also it would work in certain areas of my life. And then I would seem to once again return to this dominant energy. And so I would ask this question, who does it belong to? And the way this works is anything that's not light, anything that's any thoughts, feelings, emotions, anything that's not you, ask, who does that belong to? And if it lightens up at all, it's not yours. And then what you do is you just return it to sender. And so I would be using this tool and I was like, holy shit, this explains my whole life. Like I always wondered, how could I be happy one minute and then back in this miserable pile of shit the next minute? And so I would use this tool and it would work. Things would change. And then same thing, I would tend to return to this dominant energy. And what we do with that is if you've grown up around a lot of unhappiness, if you've grown up around a lot of anger, if you've grown up around a lot of sadness, abuse, whatever that energy is for you, then how much have you sensitized yourself to that energy? Basically, how much have you bought that energy as you when it isn't? So everything that you've done to buy that as yours when it wasn't, and everything that you've created or uncreated as a result of it, will you destroy and uncreate it? Times the Godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. If you haven't heard that wild bunch of words, thank you. That's theclearingstatement.com. I love you guys in the back just like putting up that stuff. You're amazing. That is not me sitting here typing in theclearingstatement.com. And so basically what that does is it's about undoing the energetics and the points of view that we take that creates the limitations in our lives that seem to be so solid and real. And I would like to say something about this with so many things. Well, let me keep going on this path. So with this, starting Access, finding these tools, and then still being like waking up just unhappy every day, then using the tools, getting through it, then waking up the next day unhappy every day. And I remember the relationship that I was in at the time. And I was with this girl who she would wake up happy and creative and just this powerhouse of just living. And I would wake up in the morning miserable, and I remember one day waking up and, and seeing her and she's creating, she's happy and she's wonderful. And I was just like, can you stop being so happy? And she was just like, no. And I was like, oh, I'm the one who needs to change this. And I realized in that how much of my life I'd used that as a way to try and also control the world around me. So everything that brings up times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. And so with this, I had so bought that this was me, that this was all there was. And then anything else that wasn't that, anything else that didn't match that, I would allow myself to have access to momentarily, but I would always return to what I'd decided and believed was me. So everything that brings up for you and everything that you've bought as real and true for you that you just know isn't, like you as an infinite being, would you choose to be unhappy? Would you choose to be miserable? Would you choose to be sad? Would you choose to be angry? So everything that is, everything that you've done to buy that as yours, and again, everything that you have created or uncreated as a result of it, will you destroy and uncreate it? Times the godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. Now, that the other thing too, with the thing that I said about, seeing this person that was so joyful, and the judgment I had of that in my world, like the judgment of, how could you be joyful? You shouldn't get to be joyful. I'm not joyful. Why are you being joyful? Shouldn't you be sad? I'm sad. Sad's the dominant energy. So with that, one of the things that I realized also is it was all about control. It was all about control, but also all about judgment. So do you ever have that where you're around somebody and they're extremely happy, or they have a lot of ease with money, or they just have a lot of ease in some area of their life, and you kind of like, you really want to be happy for them, but secretly underneath, and if you're being honest with yourself, you're like, those fuckers, like, how could they be having ease? How could they be having joy when I'm not? Well, how much have you been that, and how much are you that, and how much were you that, and how much were you judged for it? How much were you judged for it? And then how much did you hide it from yourself in order to avoid the judgment? Basically lock yourself out of it. And then what we do with that is, if you've stopped being something based on judgment, you will judge others for being it. So everything that is times the godzillion, when you destroy and create it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyond. So a couple of awesome tools with this is, when you notice that come up, like you just notice that energy when somebody's just really kind or really joyful or really just has ease, and you're like fuck. Everywhere that I have shut that down, everywhere that I was judged for being that, and everywhere that I have hidden that from myself, and everything that doesn't allow me to be that, I now destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. Another thing with this also is, have you ever had where you like really admire something in somebody? It could be an ease with some area of their life. It could be they're just generous. They're just a wonderful gift, a wonderful being, and you admire that in them. But then have you ever gone into comparison with you based on the judgment that you have of yourself that you're not that? I've had that a lot throughout my life, where I would see people just as this wonderful gift and then be like, well, they're that, but I'm not that. Okay. If you can see something in somebody else, perceive something in somebody else, recognize something in somebody else, you can only have that if you are that too. So rather than going into that dominant energy of crap, the bullshit we all know so well of, let me judge myself as if that's a way to create anything. Go to, okay, where am I that also that I've been unwilling to be? Everything that doesn't allow me to perceive, know, be, and receive that, I now destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. Okay. Another great tool on the judgment stuff is when you have judgment of somebody choosing something that you have decided is wrong. For example, like you see somebody being mean, you see somebody using other people, you see somebody being selfish, and you're like, kind of like, fuckers, and you have that judgment. We can only judge something that we've been there and done. So really helpful tool for getting out of judgment is everywhere I've been that and done that, I now destroy and uncreate it. Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, meons. And the way I look at this, but also what I choose to the best of my ability, and I am definitely a work in progress with this, is recognizing that I can only be triggered by others if I have what triggers me within me. So what I mean by that is access consciousness is all about empowerment. It's all about empowering you to know that you know, and really putting you in the driver's seat of your life. So if you can walk through the world like that and something triggers you, or something, sends you into judgment, or something makes you unhappy, or something, whatever that is okay, what point of view do I have creating this? And this is huge, and I still get more of this every day, is your point of view creates your reality also. So everything that brings up, times a godzillion, when you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Okay. Your point of view creates your reality. That. So if you even just get a sense of that, like, how many points of view do you have about you creating what you will not receive? How many points of view do you have about your money flows creating what you will not receive? How many points of view do you have about your body creating what you will not receive? So what if you could, here's a question I use, is what if I was truly having my point of view, what would that be? Because how much of those, same as with the dominant energy, how much of the points of view that create your life, create the world around you, were never yours to begin with? So who does it belong to also? Everything that is, and everything that you've done to buy any of that stuff that's coming up as yours when it wasn't, and everything that you created or uncreated as a result of it, will you destroy and uncreate it? Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and meons. So I want to give you another piece of this. If you can kind of relate to this dominant energy being one of less than, or, that unhappiness, the kind of just whatever that is for you, is I was in Costa Rica many years ago, and I was doing just pathetic. I can't even remember what it was about, but I was doing less than, I was doing all the drama that you can imagine. And I'm good at drama when I do drama. And so I was there, and Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, was there with me. And he said, can I ask you a question? And I was like, okay. And he said, are you choosing all of this so that other people will create your life for you? And as soon as he said it, I just smiled, and lit up. And I was like, apparently. And I realized with that, again, it was one of the energies that I grew up with, was total control of the world around you based on being whatever you've decided creates that control. So, sound familiar at all? Like with that, like if you look at when you do sad, when you do mad, when you do any upset, how much of that is based on control? Everything that is, times a godzillion, everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive that, will you destroy and create it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. So a great process with this that I'm still running 14 years later, is what energy, space, consciousness, and choice can I be to be out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, significance, out of linearities, and out of concentricities, with total ease for all eternity. Everything that doesn't allow it, times a godzillion, destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, poboats, millions. I have that process as a loop on my SoundCloud, and I'm pretty sure I also have it's a free process loop. You just basically with those, I have process loops on every day with these processes, and you can just have them down low while you sleep. Dr. Dane here has his dive-in monthly loops, which I play every night, that are amazing. And just having these processes on is such a wonderful gift. The other one I think I have on SoundCloud is All of Life Comes to Me with Ease, Joy, and Glory 100 times as a loop. So there you go. So I wanted to... there's how do I put this? There's an interesting thing that I see that comes up when, like, I've been using these tools for 14 years. And I mean, if you would have met me 14 years ago, you would see obvious changes, right? But you know, I come on here and I talk about these things, and like, even each day I wake up with choice. Each day I wake up with choice to either go into what I've decided is this dominant energy. And if we look at that, what would you say is the dominant energy based on people's points of view in the world right now? Would you say it's one of ease and joy and possibilities, or would you see it as one of pain, suffering, stress, worry, no hope? So once again, that's what we have choice with that. And each day when I wake up, I recognize that I have choice to go into that. But if I'm not being present and using these tools, so a lot of people kind of have this thing of, well, how long until I'm going to get to the finish line? How long until I'm going to use these tools, and then everything's just going to be light and wonderful? Well, it doesn't really work that way, because the more you grow, the more you demand to be more of who you are, the more vulnerable you get with yourself, the more of you become, the more awareness you have, the more of your awareness you have access to. So that can oftentimes turn the world up around you. So you get more awareness of the pain, the suffering, the choices that people will or won't make, everything that you're connected to. And so with that, what if you could begin to recognize you? What if you could begin to recognize, wait a minute, I am a space of lightness. Each time I go away from that, I'm choosing something that's not me. Who does it belong to? Have I bought this as mine when it wasn't? Everything that is POC and POD. If I was truly having my point of view, what would that be? And so many other tools. Also, the Access Consciousness bars is such a gift. If you haven't heard about that, check it out. Access Consciousness bars, amazing. It was my first, I like to even try and put that to words, 14 years ago, getting my bars on. It was just like, wow. So, how are you guys doing? Oh my goodness. So with that tool, the other thing with who does it belong to is basically if you use that for 3 days, which I've done this a few times over the years, and talking to you guys about it now, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm doing another 3 days of who does it belong to, which is basically without any thought, feeling, emotion, any upset, any pain in your body, anything, again, that's not light, who does it belong to? Return to sender with consciousness attached. Now, if you get this strong sense of it's mine, and that oftentimes is when it's not. But when you really have bought it as yours, when it really is this dominant energy of your life. So that, again, is everywhere I've bought it as mine. Everything I've created or uncreated as a result, destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. And what would you like to be the dominant energy of your life? Like space, consciousness, lightness, like just liking you, a joy for being alive, a just gratitude for living. So what would you have to acknowledge about you today? What would you have to choose today that would be an acknowledgement of that request? Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive it, but also everything that doesn't allow you to know what's true for you with regards to that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Times a godzillion, right, joy, space, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. Relax. Yeah. Relax. That. How much more relaxation could you have in your life? And it's interesting. I've been here at El Lugar, which is the resort in Costa Rica that has been under construction and is now open. Phenomenal place. I've been here for the last few weeks and really demanding of myself to relax more into being. And like I said, like I have so many things that will come into my world, come into my awareness that in the past I would have just believed was me based on me believing that heaviness was more real than lightness. And so being here, every time that kind of anxiety comes up, or anytime that sense of less than comes up, or anytime that sense of angst comes up, what I do is just stop and see. Because do you ever notice that when something like that comes up and you buy it as real, then what you go into next is trying to prove that you're right for having it, or try and find the source for where it came from. How much of your life do you spend trying to find the source of what's not yours? Everything that is times the godzillion, where you destroy and create it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyond. So what I've been doing is just stopping and expand. So here's a tool, is expand your awareness out. And basically the way that I do this is you could close your eyes or not, and you could begin with, if you've not heard of this tool, you could begin with, get a sense of occupying the space of the room that you're in. So basically you're expanding your awareness out to occupy the space of the room that you're in, not trying to collapse your zone of awareness to get away from what you're aware of. Because you ever notice that? Like, oh, man, I've been good at this one, is where you'll have stress or worry or anxiety, or you're aware of whatever energies that you're aware of. And in order to cope with that awareness, how much do you try and collapse your zone of awareness to get away from it? When you do that, you make it solid and real and stick yourself with it. So here's a completely different perspective with this, is acknowledge it, ask who does it belong to, but then also expand your awareness out. And then occupying the space of the room, now expand out further than that. And I just go, you know what, everything that doesn't allow my awareness to expand 100,000 miles in all directions, pock and pod. And it sounds weird because it is, and it's amazing. So how are you guys doing? Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here with me today. And also, if you didn't see, I'm doing lives also every week in my Telegram channel. And basically they're just lives every Tuesday. In there, you don't have to do anything. You just jump on the live, and I'll be sharing with you more tools, more awarenesses, more things that I use every day. Because man, it is a journey. It really is. And it's when What if you didn't have to strive for, what if you didn't need to be right anymore? But what if you didn't have to strive for some perfection of, or some perfect life? What if truly the gift was all in the journey? And what if discovering you was the journey? What can you discover about you today and acknowledge about you today and choose to be today? So, my beautiful friends, thank you for being here. And how does it get any better than this? I'll see you all next time. Bye.